Here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have another phenomenal show lined up for you tonight. And like I say, it's not because of me. Oh, no. It is because of the amazing Jennifer Fraser. She is here. She is waiting. She is literally in the green room, clawing at the screen, saying, let me in. I have a lot to say. I have a lot to share. And she will be coming on very, very soon. I promise. The Mind, Body, Business Show. It is a show that I personally had developed literally with you in mind. The entrepreneur, the business person who is looking for 1, 2, perhaps more successful tips and strategies just to take them to that next level, because that's really all it takes is one more way that you can execute and get to that next level. And then you find another and then another. That's the beautiful thing about this show is my guest experts like Jennifer Fraser, they come on this show and they will give you so many things that you can start implementing in your business right away. And you can improve, and then come back and watch again next week and find even more things that you can implement and execute and improve. I know this for a fact because I host this show and I get to learn from these amazing individuals like Jennifer and put into action what I learned from them. And it has really catapulted my business and my personal life both. And so this is just a gem, a godsend for you. And that's why I created this, was for you. I'm not kidding. And what it is really about are what I call the 3 pillars of success. And those are basically the namesake of this very show. It's mind, body, and business. Mind being mindset. Now, this came about as a result of interviewing only and studying only successful entrepreneurs and business people for a period of about 10 years. And what I began discovering were these 3 pillars kept bubbling and rising to the surface for each of these very high achieving, successful individuals. And mind was one of them. Mind stands for mindset. And to a person, these successful individuals whom I studied. Now we're talking about people that include a wide variety of individuals. Some are people I know personally, have worked with, have been mentored by, have shared the stage with, you name it. Others would be authors of books, some that I know personally, others I've never met, some that I never could meet because they've already passed on. Just a wide variety of individuals that I've studied. And mindset to a person, each of these successful individuals had a very powerful, very positive, and most importantly, and most often forgotten, is very flexible mindset. Very important. And then body. When it comes to body, these individuals literally took care of themselves, both physically and nutritionally. And then business. Business is a very multifaceted arena because these individuals had mastered the various skill sets that are necessary for them to achieve a successful business and then to scale it, continue to grow it. And we're talking the skill sets like sales, marketing, team building, leadership, systematizing. I could go on for quite some time. There are a lot of them. Now you might be thinking, oh my gosh, Brian, to master any one thing, that can actually take a very long time. And to that, I would say you are absolutely correct. The good news is you do not personally have to master every skill set. Ooh, interesting. No. All you need to do really is master just one of them. And I actually mentioned, it was one of those few I just mentioned. If you master this one skill set, what you can do with it is leverage it and then bring in other people who have or are very close to mastering those other skill sets that you have yet to or may never master. There's only so much time we have on this earth. I mean, we don't want to learn our entire time. We want to do and be successful by taking action. And that one skill set, if you're curious, I'd like to see someone say, I want to know, raise their hand, add a comment, respond to us. We want engagement, or I'm not going to tell you. I'm so kidding. I'm going to tell you. So that one skill set is a skill set of, drum roll, leadership. If you master, when you've mastered the skill set of leadership, you now have the ability to bring in others who have already mastered all those other skill sets and masterfully coordinate and lead them as a team in your business. You might say, Ryan, I don't have a single person on my team right now. That's okay. Master leading yourself as if you were one of your own team members. There's no excuses here. You just do it. And there are many, many books written on the topic of leadership. You're going to find a few in a resource I'm going to share with you in just a moment. But just start reading about leadership and then really acquire a great deep skill set of leadership. If you focus on that one skill set, I promise you, you will see your business and even, I dare say, your personal life will come much easier to you, and you'll be much more successful at both. All right. What is that one resource? Well, that one resource is basically something I put together as a result of learning that another thing that these very successful people did was they were always, to a person, voracious readers of books. Yes, easy, simple books. And with that, I would like to segue into a quick little segment I affectionately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
There you see it, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And a very, very quick word of advice, if I may. And that is, you're going to be hearing about several resources on this show. Resources, what does that mean? Website addresses, books, courses, just quotes, things of that nature. And what I would like to implore upon you is that I know how we as humans are. We're going to be tempted to go off and click away and type in these resources and go search and investigate what those are and learn about them while this thing is going, the show. And I would implore upon you to, instead of doing that, is to take out a good old-fashioned piece of paper and a pen and instead write them down. I'm going to be doing that very thing as Jennifer's talking. Personally, I do that. Obviously, I can't go clicking away right during the middle of a show I'm interviewing, but this is a tactic I learned as a result of my own self speaking from stage for my own mentor. I used to be his lead trainer and did half of his trainings for him. And what I learned in the very beginning was there were times when I know I'm getting to the juicy stuff, the good stuff, the very impactful stuff. And at that moment, I'd see somebody get up and leave the room. You know, they're gazing at their phone. They've got that all-important text message or phone call, or they're, kind of squeezing their legs together because they got to go to the restroom and they're heading out the door. Whatever the case is, I learned that here's the key. The key is that the magic is in the room. What does that mean here live? Is the magic is focus, is keep your focus on what Jennifer is saying during the show so that you can get the most out of this. I would so hate for you to go off, taking your focus off, clicking away, typing in a resource, looking it up, and Jennifer's giving you the golden ticket to the rest of your life at that very moment. So it's really, really important that you write these things down, and then later, after the show's over, then go visit all these resources all you want and spend all the time you want on them. That's my soapbox moment. I'm getting off the soapbox right now. Here we go. Reach Your Peak Library is a website that I had developed by my team with you in mind. Again, yes, this is a compilation of books that I personally have read. And here's the thing. I didn't start reading voraciously until about the age of 47, roughly, 12 years ago now. Just giving you a moment to do the math. I know you all want to know. And so the cool thing is, even at that late age of 47, it has been an absolute game changer for me personally to realize that if I read the right books, it doesn't mean you can't read fiction. It doesn't mean you can't relax, but read the right books to advance yourself in wherever you want to advance, and it will happen. It is the most inexpensive way to get a great education. The key is not only to read it, but it's also to put it into action, just like everything you're going to hear from Jennifer here tonight. And so with that, you know what? Enough of my blabbing. It's enough of my blabbing already. It is time, yes, it is, to bring on the one, the only Jennifer Fraser. Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is the one, it is the only Jennifer Fraser.
Thank you.
How are you doing tonight, Jennifer?
I'm great, Brian. I'm so thankful to be here. I really am excited to talk about how you can have an incredible competitive advantage when you start to pay attention to your brain.
So true. What a epiphany I had about that same age of 47 when I learned the importance of mindset and had no idea that it was even a thing. I had no idea, none, zero. And it was all about neurolinguistic programming. And there are many ways to develop a more empowered mindset. NLP is a super powerful one. And that's what I learned and became certified in. And then, my gosh, I cannot tell you, I'm a born again Christian. This was like, I'm a born again human by going through NLP, because now I'm loving life way more. And I'm loving working with and talking to people way more, because now I've learned how to do it effectively, not for the purpose of making money, but for the purpose of engaging with people and having a great time doing it.
Well, I mean, one of the things that the brain most craves, and this can be a real challenge for entrepreneurs, just as I was listening to your introduction, one of the things that happens to us is we get isolated. We are the captain of our ship. We are the leader, and we're also the secretary and the social media person, and you name it. You're wearing, 8 different hats a day because you're trying to make your idea and your dream come alive. And the isolation is really not great for your brain. So one of the key things I would say to entrepreneurs from the get-go is, for the sake of your brain and the success that you want to achieve, you've got to stay connected. You have to see people, carve out time. It can't just be social media. You're trying to reach them to get them behind your idea. It has to be literally going out for coffee, talking to people like yourself, interviews, engagement, sharing resources, mentoring someone else. All of these things absolutely are critically healthy for the brain.
I couldn't agree more, and succinctly stated. You hear this all the time in the business circles. It's all about creating relationships, and that's it. That is the number one most powerful form of marketing I think there is on the planet. I always avoided it. I pushed it back because it was only one person at a time, and I'm all about efficiency and automation. I want to email thousands of people and reach them all at once, but I learned over years and years and years of learning that just doesn't work that effectively. And then when I started focusing on one-on-one, I was like, wow, okay, now I know how to do this. Because here's the thing, isn't this cool, Jennifer? Like when you're in a business, and now I had that mindset of, oh my gosh, it's only one person. That's so inefficient. Here's the thing, you strike up a friendship with that person, a relationship. Somewhere down the road, maybe they become a client of yours. But when that happens, I should say, and when that happens, then they became a raving fan, and they start shouting about you from the rooftops. So that one person literally became many, and you just achieved the same goal.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. People talk a lot about Maslow's hierarchy and the triangle, and how you have to fulfill these needs. Like you have to have shelter, and you have to have food. And then a lot of people still believe the fallacy that you have to really work hard to attain success. And after you have success, then you will be happy. From a brain point of view, all of that is incorrect. It's all false. It's debunked by science. What the brain needs, number one priority for health and development and success, is connection. Once you establish, no matter how you do it, in whatever form works for you, you establish connection, you build these relationships, and you prioritize your happipiness. You do things that make you happy. And a lot of entrepreneurs know this. They get setbacks, of course, but they're usually out on this risky course because they're going to fight for what makes them happy. If you stick to your guns, you stick to your course, success will follow. That's what the research shows.
Oh man, I knew this was going to be a great show already. We could call it right now and it'd say we've got enough value, but we're not going to, because we got a long way to go. At least 2.5 more hours. No, I'm kidding. But almost an hour. So, we got some people chiming in. Candace Moore says, servant leadership is most desirable. Ooh, so agree. Jean NG Web 3. Hi, Jennifer and Brian. How are you doing, Jean? And we have Wendy O'Hanlon. Relationships are vital, care, connect, communicate, and at Stress Trainers, where she can be found. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you all. Oh, we have another one, and it's a LinkedIn user. Oh, I don't know why these come in this way, but LinkedIn user, whoever you just put this up, it says from infancy, if a newborn does not have a connection, human touch, they will fail to thrive. And I think there's a lot of um, data about that can really support that as well. So whoever put that up there, go ahead and put in your name so we can give you credit. I like to give shout outs to people who are engaging. If you don't mind, LinkedIn user that came from LinkedIn, that would be great. But before we go any farther, I want to actually introduce Jennifer Fraser because she so richly deserves it. As you can see on the screen, she has a PhD. Jennifer has a PhD in comparative literature. She was trained to take different discourses out of their silos and put them into an arena to see if the conversation changed. When she put bullying into the arena with neuroscience, ooh, I like this, she was shocked at how the conversation radically changed. As an award-winning educator, entrepreneur, and consultant, Jennifer works to support brain healthy work cultures. And we're going to go deeper into that. So, with that, formally and officially now, welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thank you, Brian.
And we have the answer to our mystery guest. It is Kelly Christie. Thanks so much, Kelly, for coming on and engaging. We love that. Yes, and we have a fan. David Underwood says Jennifer's great. She knows what she is talking about with a fist pump. I love it. Thank you, David, for chiming in. Awesome. Great. I love all this interaction. This is fantastic. And so one of the things I love to open with, Jennifer, is basically the first pillar of those three pillars, and it has to do with mind. What I've always been deeply curious for successful individuals such as yourself. When you get up in the morning, you're an entrepreneur, first and foremost. We already know that it's not an easy road every single day. In fact, every single day is anything but, because there's so many things. That's entrepreneurs. We are here to solve problems, and we get a lot of them, but that's how we earn our living, is by solving a lot of problems. So getting up every morning knowing that all of these problems could be few one day, it could be a lot the next day, it could be zero if we're lucky one day in the beginning, then they come. But knowing that you've been through this now long enough, you get up in the morning, you know that's all facing you. What is going on in your beautiful brain as you're waking up and coming to, that keeps you motivated, keeps you driven, keeps you persistent in doing what you do day in and day out?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think in my heart, I am a teacher. So a teacher's drive is to, once you know something, and especially when you know something that actually it's got the ability to save someone's life, it can save someone's happiness, it can save their success. It's ignored for the most part in our society. You feel an intense compulsion to get the information out there in whatever way, shape, or form. So whether you are, I write for Psychology Today, a series on the bully brain. I do multiple interviews. I speak with media. I consult with the federal government when they need a subject matter expert. They have me come out to the Capitol in Canada. I do all of that because I really badly want to get this information into everybody's hands, because I have people write me and say, your book saved my life. And it's because most of us don't know. We don't know. We weren't raised to understand. We didn't learn. There's no book out there actually that talks about the fact that many of us have been trained in the framework to believe that bullying and abuse, it's a necessary evil for greatness. And if we just subject ourselves and we let ourselves be beaten up in this way mentally, like talk mindset, or physically or sexually even, we know we have a massive problem with all of this power dynamic in the workplace. If we just submit, then we will be able to achieve greatness. It's a lie. It's a myth. And how can we debunk that myth? Science. The research in the brain science is nothing short of stunning.
That's oh my God, so much great stuff to unpack there. And as you're saying all that, I was just saddened to realize that people actually go about their life thinking these things. I probably went through those periods. It's been so long, I can't even remember them. And going through and learning how to rewrite that ship would be, what would that be worth to somebody? You've worked with so many people, and you've just said, I mean, I cannot imagine how unbelievably wonderful and fulfilling that would feel to have someone say your book saved my life. Come on. I mean, is there any bigger, better reason to do what you do, Jennifer, than to save someone's life? Does that that's got to inspire you to never give up and to never quit. But do you also put a priority on taking care of yourself so that you can then take care of others? That's something that entrepreneurs often kind of leave in the dust sometimes, and maybe it happens on occasion. It does for me. I'll forget. And I go, crap. I feel horrible. I need to get back in the gym. But do you do something to prioritize yourself, maybe for physical exercise, for maybe meditation or other mindset techniques? Is there something in your protocol for doing that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when I started to look at the research, first I was looking at the research on what does bullying and abuse do to the brain. And what I found was it does a lot of damage to the brain. It's physical. It can be seen on a brain scan. So
Wow.
they can look at all forms of bullying and abuse, like put downs, emotional abuse. It doesn't have to touch the body. They can see on brain scans the neurological scars from bullying and abuse, yelling in the face, berating, humiliation, shame. It's incredible. And most of us don't know at all that we even have an injury. And we blame ourselves. We're like, oh, we're not working hard enough. We're not smart enough. We're not trying hard. Oh, it's our fault. No, you actually have a brain injury and your society doesn't check it and it doesn't look at it. And so you don't know. Now, to answer the question about do I carve out time for health? Absolutely, because what I learned is I was like, okay, the neuroscientists know all this stuff about brain scars. I bet they know a ton about how to repair and recover. And they do. So the book is packed full of every single chapter is like, okay, so here's the bad news. Yeah, bullying and abuse really hurt your brain like in a terrible way. But here's the news on how to get better because our brains are innately wired to heal. They're innately wired to repair and recover if we follow evidence-based practices. So you think to yourselves, oh, this is going to be really complicated or really expensive, or I don't have time. Yes, you do. It is so common sense. It's not even funny. One of the healthiest things you can do for your brain is go to the gym. You just need to go and get aerobic fitness, get outside in nature, challenge your brain by being out in a new environment where you're hiking or walking or running or biking. Any of these forms of exercise that get your heart rate up, unbelievably healthy for your brain. It reduces stress and it also prevents the harmful effects of toxic stress down the road. It makes your brain incredibly neuroplastic, which is our brain's capacity and ability to change. And it also it releases, it's called BDNF, brain derived neurotrophic factor. BDNF is like a fertilizer for the brain. It's really good for the growth of new brain cells. It's really good for neuroplasticity, which is our capacity and ability to change, which of course is one of the great skill sets of the entrepreneur. So, I mean, fitness, you just need some running shoes. You just need to get out in nature. That is going to make such a huge change to your brain health. It's not even funny. And then the other ones are similar too. Mindfulness. I know it's an ancient Eastern practice. You would not believe the neuroscience on mindfulness, how much anything from like 7 minutes to 27 minutes a day of doing the deep breathing, of doing the relaxation, of staying present, letting go of anxieties and worries about the future and regrets about the past. Forget it. You can't do anything about it. Mindfulness trains us to be healthy and safe and focused in the moment. Unbelievably good for your brain. Does it cost anything? No.
Woo! I love it. Yeah, I used to be a certified personal trainer. I can attest to the benefits of physical exercise. And it doesn't mean as a woman you have to become and develop into a supermodel. And as a man, it doesn't mean you have to develop into the former Mr. Universe of Arnold Schwarzenegger either. It's just about moving. It's about getting those endorphins flowing, it's getting the blood pumping. One guest I had on my show, Jennifer, I'll never forget. I forgot the name of the person. I don't recall at this moment, but they did say it was a gentleman who said anytime they were about to take on an arduous task that they didn't really feel like doing, instantly they would do a quick workout routine and they were all over it right after that. And so it's a great thing to start in the day, to get your day started, to get up and get the blood pumping. It's the last thing on earth any of us want to do as soon as they wake up. That's why it's the best time to do it. And then we talk about mindfulness. That's like exercise for the brain. It's like fitness for the brain. I was thinking that as you were talking, it's a whole fitness regimen, 7 to 27 minutes. I'm guessing, I'm curious, do you have specific, what are they, like audios that you listen to? Do you have guided, do you have ways of guiding people through a 7 to 27 minute daily mindfulness exercise? How does that work?
Well, in the book, I really spend a lot of time talking about how I use mindfulness very specifically to communicate with my brain. So we've been brought up in a society where very visual creatures. If we can't see something, we ignore it. We can't see our brain. Our society doesn't talk to us about our brain. It doesn't teach us in school or university or in the workplace. So we tend to forget it even exists. So like coming full circle to one of your pillars being the mind, one of the things that I do is I get people to understand that you always want the mind in the driver's seat. You get the mind to choose where you're going, why you're going there, remaining calm, remaining focused, and you let the brain be the engine. But to have the brain be the engine, you've got to pay attention to it. You have to keep it in shape. You've got to care for it. You've got to listen to it. And so I use mindfulness in an unusual and very specific way, whereby I use it as an opportunity to visualize and observe my brain, what it's feeling, what it's thinking, what it's doing, and create that kind of dialogue between mind and brain.
Yes. And visualization is so powerful. I mean, do you take it to the extent of when you visualize something, do you put yourself in that environment and feel things like the air or notice the sun feeling on your face? Do you fully immerse yourself, or do you visualize visually only? What is your form?
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you asked that, because I do a lot of my mindfulness meditative work moving. I'm not very good at sitting still. I'm a lot more comfortable and happy in movement and in nature. So I absolutely, especially if I find myself spinny or anxious, I use nature as a way I pay attention to the air on my face. I ground myself by feeling the earth under my feet. What are the smell in the air? Who are the people that are passing me? I smile at them. And the whole time I'm doing that, I'm also doing very, very slow, purposeful breathing. And what lots of people don't understand or just don't know, we haven't talked about it. I was amazed when I was told this. When you're doing the slow, purposeful breathing, it is communicating to your brain that there's no predator, that you are relaxed, you are healthy, and you are safe. And when your brain isn't on high alert, when it's not pumping its resources into the threat detection system, and it's not analyzing 24/7 the environment as a dangerous place, because its number one job is to keep you safe. If you tell it it can go offline on the threat detection piece, it gives it the opportunity to be creative, problem solving, connecting with others, empathic, you name it. The brain can go crazy with all the other things that it does if you're not constantly telling it that you're under threat. Slow breathing, not the shallow shoulder, oh my God, how am I going to pay that bill breathing? That breathing is the worst thing for your brain. It thinks everything's a predator. So slow, purposeful breathing, staying in the moment, is telling your brain you're safe. And that's its greatest power.
So true. I've had two people I've interviewed on this show that are experts in breathing techniques. One, Jay Bradley, the other, Daniel Aaron, who's since become a very close friend of mine. Daniel has, and Jay is a great guy. In fact, those two just had their own show where Daniel interviewed Jay today. I was like, this is you can't make this up. But the cool thing is the breathing. I did not know this existed until I first met Jay Bradley about it. And I went through one of his sessions, and it's slow, it's deep, and he guided you on how to do it. And when I was done, I felt liberated. I felt clean, clear, relaxed. Oh my gosh, such a peacefulness because of everything you're saying, Jennifer. You're talking about there's no more predators. And I was like, wow, that's a really cool way to think about it, because yeah, there's no danger of any kind. You're like, you've just freed your brain up to do what it was designed to do. And there are things like techniques of, I remember right before going up on stage, I mean, we're all human. Every single person on this planet gets a little nervous before going up on stage in front of people, no matter how many times you've done it. Johnny Carson, famous comedian that was on every night in front of millions of people from the Tonight Show, he admitted he was nervous every single night right before they announced his name. But one of the keys I learned was taking a couple of deep, well, methodical, short, or not short, but slow breaths. And it just, all the nerves just flushed out. And now you can be you and be the most profound person to help to get the results for the audience that you can be. And it's just unbelievably so simple. And that's the thing. So few people realize this. I didn't realize this until somewhat recently. And it's profoundly powerful. I appreciate you bringing all this up. It's like so spot on that most entrepreneurs are thinking about, how do I turn the crank? How do I market? How do I do the sale? What's the right script? What's the website supposed to look like? Well, there's so much more that needs to be done prior to all that. And then always in conjunction with all that.
So I want to tack onto that, Brian, so people really understand what the science teaches us. So what the scientists understand, and again, we don't get this information, and it's so critical for your entrepreneurs. When your entrepreneurs are in that frantic, worried, anxiety, predator state, what their brain is doing is it thinks there's danger. And so it's pumping the body and the brain full of cortisol. Cortisol is a fabulous, healthy, complex stress hormone, really useful. It keeps us alive. Basically, it helps us do what we need to do. It helps us go into fight when we need to fight. It helps us go into flight, run away 100 miles an hour, and it helps us freeze. So we might fight like a lion or a grizzly bear. We might flee super fast like a deer, or we might freeze like a rabbit. We're human creatures that are creatures. We have that same mechanism as the animals on the planet. And if you think animals, it helps you remember this. So in the same way that these animals surviving in the wilderness have this mechanism, so do we. But when you are human and you look at a bill, you look at a challenge, you look at a social media post or the technology and you don't know how to do it, you haven't hit your targets, you're just so stressed out, or interpersonal relationships, so stressed out. When you pump cortisol up into your brain and your body, you're doing remarkable damage if it's over and over and over again. And it's invisible. You don't know that you're stressing your heart. You don't know you're ramping up your blood pressure. You don't know that you are dismantling brain architecture with the stress hormone cortisol. It becomes acidic. It hurts your immune system. It's correlated with midlife chronic disease. It's so serious. And who teaches us this? I mean, I had to find it out for myself. And so I talk a lot about, okay, this is what cortisol is doing, and this is how we can save ourselves and make sure that we're not letting it ramp us up. And so there's two systems. It's like a seesaw. What I just described to you is the sympathetic nervous system. You need to learn how to manage that. How do you manage that? With the mind. So that mindset that Brian's talking about, it's your best friend. You get it to visualize and talk and exercise and so on. And it talks to the brain and says to the brain, you got to chill out. Let's do some deep breathing and calm this stuff down. Let's do some activity. We can knit, we can color, we can empty the dishwasher, but we got to breathe deeply and calm down. When you do that, you activate what the neuroscientists call the parasympathetic nervous system. And they call it in short form, rest and digest. So if you're not sleeping at night, if you've got stomach problems, you've got way too much stress going on. And you have got to learn to prioritize the health and well-being of your own self so that you can not hurt yourself with this kind of stress. It's really not safe.
That is phenomenal. Oh my goodness. LinkedIn user said silent killer. Okay, LinkedIn user is, I forgot her name already. It was up above. Kelly Christie. Thank you, Kelly. Oh,
Kelly Christie sounds like a health professional.
Yes.
Oh, Martine.
Hello, Alan. Says, love Dr. Fraser. I love it. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. Great. There are other comments. We can't get to all of them. Thank you. My gosh. Keep them coming. And if you have a question for Jennifer, then definitely put that in the comments as well. Or should I say, Dr. Fraser. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. And so, you have a lot of accolades. You have a lot of, you've put in the time, Jennifer, and you've put in the effort. You've put in the investment of finances and your time and resources to get where you are today. And so, kudos and thank you for putting that kind of effort so that you can then have this kind of impact on others who may not even know certain ways of improving their lives exist, which each and every time I do the show and have a guest like you, I learn something new. There's additional, like, wow, I hadn't heard that one before. I mean, you talked about there's no more predators present when you're doing deep, slow breathing. Like, that's, I mean, when you just think these subtle thoughts as you're doing it, they translate into supreme power for you in a positive way. And so, what I just wanted to say, what everyone's hearing Jennifer Fraser say here tonight on this show, it's truly, it's just powerful, and you need to really take it to heart. It is nowhere near anything like woo woo. It is absolute science based. I mean, look, she has a PhD at the end of her name. Come on. And you can tell it's not a phony one listening to her and interacting with her. She knows what she's talking about. She's been doing this for a while. And that's what I've learned as a grown adult, is to start trusting people more, especially when they come on this show. The people that come on this show are bona fide, heart-driven, heart-centered, serving individuals. They do not come on here to say, I've got something to sell you, and I'm going to do it in a way that will harm you. Not a single person that's been on this show does it that way. And Jennifer is absolutely nowhere near that. She is the opposite. She loves people and wants to serve and help people. And her concentration is on bullied teenagers, which is something I really want to dive in a little deeper, if you don't mind, Jennifer. Is, we've been talking a lot about mindset, and your expertise in that area is already very evident. So can we now pivot a little bit and say, Jennifer, what is it you do? What is your business? Who do you serve? Like, who is your target market? And if you have a success story or two you'd like to share, I know we'd all love to hear that as well. Would that be all right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, basically, I am a researcher at heart. And so I was told 10 years ago, I was working in a university prep school, and I was told that the bullying being done to these teenagers by their teachers, and we're talking homophobic slurs and yelling in the face, and when the kid tried to get away, detaining him, and lots of put downs, and the teacher walking out basically saying you're embarrassments, like just brutal stuff. And I found it hard to believe, even though the people that were telling me this were like prestigious, and I'd known them for close to 10 years and seen them be wonderful. I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. And so as a researcher, and I'm lucky, I went to University of Toronto, and it's a very rigorous program, and we were trained not to believe a word unless we could back it up with research. So I took all of the info, and I went, okay, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just getting carried away here, too sensitive or something. Maybe I'm too soft. So I went and looked at the research. I was like, whoa, what do the psychologists say about this type of behavior to teenagers? Not good. What do the psychiatrists say? Whoa, not good at all. Like, really serious. What do the neuroscientists, what do the brain scientists say? Unbelievably serious. This does incredible damage to the brain. And I was like, how come I don't know that as a teacher? How come I don't know that as a mother? What is going on here? And this is when I started on my path of being the entrepreneur outlier. And this is why I love Dr. Michael Merzenich, who's one of the world's greatest leading internationally renowned neuroscientists today. And he's helped me so much in my work. And he's just a generous, heart-centered scientist who wants really to help kids in particular and to help the world. And he's the busiest man. He's 80 years old now. And inevitably you try to reach him. It's like, no, he has to do a presentation to NATO. Oh, no, he can't. He's with the head of the armed forces right now. They're going to use his program. It's like, oh, brother. And he still finds time for someone like me, who's not a scientist. And he lets me ask him all kinds of questions about the research, and generously answers and helps. So he wrote the foreword to my book, and then he dialogued with me all through the book about just key ways in which as a non-scientist, I might articulate it like this. He'd be like, we don't talk like that. That's not how we see things. And so I just quoted him and I put him in my book. But what I love about Michael is so think of him, he's a young scientist in his laboratory in San Francisco. And there's Nobel Prize winning scientists that are the generation ahead of him. And his lab work is showing that they're wrong, that they've made a mistake. And what does he do? He sticks to his guns. He threatens his entire career and future. And he starts to speak up about how his results do not support what they just won the Nobel Prize for. And they won the Nobel Prize for proving that the brain stops at the age of 5 from changing. It's hardwired. After the age of 5, it does radical changing, 0 to 5, and then after it stops. Michael Merzenich science has proven from when he started being ridiculed as a young scientist and ostracized, and he stuck to his guns and he kept using his science to show our brains are neuroplastic until the day we die. We can change our brains by what we practice. That is the most empowering thing for any human being to know. If you don't like what you're doing or how you're acting or how you treat the people you care about in your life or how you're running your business, it can change by what you do. You can change it with environment. You can change it by deliberate practice. It's incredible. And so Michael Merzenich now has got one of the most highly awarded neuroscientist patents, you name it, in the world. He's referred to as the father of neuroplasticity. And if there's one takeaway that you take from Brian and my conversation tonight is, I hope you take away the knowledge that you can change your brain by what you practice. You can make it stronger every single day until your last moment on the planet.
So much there. I mean, first of all, we have to end the suspense and give you the opportunity to say, well, what is the title of the book you keep referring to that you've authored? Can't wait.
I love the title of my book because it's classic me, sort of split personality. It's The Bullied Brain. Like I'm the most depressing person to talk to, the bullied brain. But then the subtitle is really where the heart of the book lies. And it's Heal Your Scars and Restore Your Health. And I think lots of us hit moments in our lives where we do feel like we have blocks and obstacles and we're disappointed in ourselves and we can't seem to overcome the stuff that's holding us back. Everybody, I've certainly been there many times. We've all been there. Well, once you know what the scientists know, you can change that. You can recognize you actually might have some neurological scars from abuse or bullying in your past. You don't know you've got this injury and it's holding you back. And then the beauty of it is it's up to you to repair and recover because you can do it. And as we talked about already, it's not expensive. It's just something you have to build into your day, into your daily practice.
And that's the beautiful thing. Most solutions don't take rocket science or a degree to actually fix whatever issues at hand. It's just knowing which ones to implement and which ones that actually work, that we have the confidence in spending that time in doing it, knowing it's going to do it. If we have the doubts there, it's going to deplete the results and we won't stick with it. And that's the issue is like, that's why I love to bring on people like you, Jennifer, because that takes away the doubt. What you're talking about takes away, it's because of the evidence, the science, the number of people have been impacted by it. You had another great internal value-based story throughout that whole dissertation about Michael Merzenich, and that is you brought a mentor into your life. And it's such a brilliant, genius way to do it, where you sprinkled him throughout your entire book, it sounds like. And you used his knowledge to help to put in the proper words so others could digest it and understand it, what you already knew to be true, and he helped you with that. And the beautiful thing you've done is you raised your hand without literally probably saying it and said, I need help. This is one thing I find, myself included, most entrepreneurs fail to do, and it's because of that ego that's going on. That keeps the ego, to me, is a cancer to success, a cancer to moving forward. Every one of us has it to a degree. It's recognizing it and then reframing and changing it and saying, I need help, and who can I get that help from? And so kudos to you for reaching out and getting that help. And I'm almost certain that just by that one act and going through that with him in the book, you probably learned a far more vast amount of knowledge around this whole subject as a direct result of doing that. Did you find that to be true?
Oh, well, I mean, Michael Merzenich, every single time I talk to him, I just walk away kind of staggered because he's an absolute genius. He's a very unlikely individual. But the sweetest thing, because he's a very thoughtful and unego person, very generous. I sent him the book, kind of nervous. I'm not a scientist. Like, what am I even doing talking to the father of neuroplasticity? Like, really? Like, oh, anyways, I sent the book off and he wrote me back, a few weeks later, and he said, the bully brain is the capital THE, the most completely scientifically thorough treatment of the subject on planet Earth. And the reason that is true, and I think it's an important piece for entrepreneurs and for business people in general, is the drive for me to understand the science when I'm not a scientist, which I can tell you was pretty painful. It was a lot of work. It took many, many years of trying to read things that just were baffling. But, I'm pretty driven. And what drove me was I was really worried about these teenagers that were hurt. I was worried, and I didn't believe what my society was telling me. And that feeling of betrayal and that sense that there had to be a better way and that we needed to solve this problem and that everyone needs to know the science and it's not getting to us and that's just wrong. It's like knowing the cure for cancer and it's not being handed out to the people, especially our young people. That just made me driven. And, it was funny because I got pulled into this bullying situation at this school and I was asked by the headmaster to take testimonies. I took testimonies from 8 kids. And they kept describing this boy that had been abused, and he was a particular target of the teachers for shaming, and he was berated and publicly humiliated over and over and over again. And I don't know, I was out of my league. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just taking the testimonies, writing everything down, getting it to the headmaster like he asked me to do. And I finally clued in, and you're not really supposed to talk to kids, when they're giving you testimony. You only ask questions for precision. You're not supposed to influence or impact what they're saying. So I was accustomed to just being quiet, writing down what they were saying, which I then sent to them for approval. So I'm writing it down and I said, here you are, like you keep talking, the boys are talking about this boy. Who was it? To be accurate, get it down. And the kid goes, Monty. And
who? Monty?
Monty's my son.
Oh.
So I, from that day, have not let go of how important it is to get this information out. I saw what the abuse did to him. I saw how much it limited him, how much damage it did. I needed to know what was happening to his brain, pure and simple. And when you have that drive, you can do anything. You can be talking to Michael Merznick and impressing him with your use of scientific research just because you need to. And I send that out to everybody as just a stay with it. You're passionate. You're doing this because you care. Just stay with it. It'll come together.
My God, I cannot imagine what that moment would have been like or was like for you because I have 2 kids of my own and oh my gosh, 8 of them saying that this one kid was being bullied by not just other kids, but teachers as well who were shaming him. And it was your own son. I can't imagine that moment, what you went through emotionally and shock and, oh my God. And then rewind. How come I didn't notice all this at home and all the other stuff that would go through? I'm sure feelings of guilt went through both you and your husband's mind and all the things that was like, what the heck? And so here is the beautiful, beautiful thing, Jennifer, is you took a very traumatic, shocking incident and turned it around to help everyone, including your son, get through these moments and cure their minds from these scars, these emotional traumas that they've gone through that physically show up in scans of their brains that this is real stuff and that it can be rewired. Thank you for bringing that up to the age of 5. I know for a fact, having taught from stage neurolinguistic programming, having taken people through processes that are way more than 5 years old, including yours truly, And knowing from my own personal experience of going through an NLP process, multiple ones, and realizing the permanent change it had in me. I mean, I am the happiest person on the planet. I used to be Mr. Pessimist. I used to be the last person to talk in an elevator. I'm now the first, and I don't do it just to be, a goofball. I did this just to to break the air, to have fun with people, to build rapport. It's so true that you can never stop learning, and your brain is always evolving and changing and helping to cure you, which is great news for everybody. It's fantastic news.
Well, and the thing that just kind of breaks my heart about all this is that's what the teachers need. Those teachers that were behaving that way, they have
Yes.
hurt brains. Hurt brains hurt. These are not bad people. These are people whose brains have been wired and sculpted to be incredibly aggressive. They believe they have to do it. They think this is a method for greatness or achievement. They don't know. Their brains are wired this way. And just as you're describing, you used to have a brain wired to be a pessimist. You've come full circle by doing the brain work. You've turned your brain around. Every single one of us, including people who behave in this negative way, aggressive way, or harmful way, all of us can change our brains. And where does it come from? Let's go back to fight, flight, freeze. The brain that is acting that way, a teacher to student, is a brain that is full of fear. It's full of trauma. It's full of fear. It's got neurological scars. It's a medical crisis. So why do we have to keep treating it like a moral issue? These are bad people. No, they're not. They're people that have an injury, and we have the knowledge to fix it.
And that's just so wonderful. I mean, that's like I said earlier, it's a great news. This is a good news story, ladies and gentlemen. So the best thing they can do, I mean, what would you say? Would you be open to also helping adults in addition to teens?
Oh yeah, no, I work with adults. I work only with adults, really. Sometimes, pretty rarely, I will work with young people. But no, since I've been working for the last 10 years as a consultant, I work in organizations. I help organizations that have psychological safety issues, bullying issues, microaggressions. I do a lot of that kind of work.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
what's so awesome is you can transform a workplace from a negative, pessimistic, harmful, bullying environment, toxic environment. You can absolutely turn it around. It does not take forever, into a high performance, healthy environment where people are aware of one another's brains and how to take care of each other.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many different ways you can get in touch with Jennifer. We're not done yet. I'm not closing the show here, but I just want to point this out now. And she has a book called The Bullied Brain. Does it say Dr. Jennifer Fraser? Jennifer Fraser, what is the title, the author title there?
I always go Jennifer Fraser, PhD, because as my two sons say to me all the time, they're like, "You're not a real doctor." So I don't want anybody to, get confused. I am not a doctor. I don't give medical advice, but I do a lot of research.
I just play one on TV, right? That was fun thing. You gotta love family, don't you? I mean, come on. They're always the first to point out those things. But it's all in fun, I can tell. And so that is her book, The Bullied Brain, and it's by Jennifer Fraser, PhD. And then her website is bulliedbrain.com. So that's BULLIEDBRAIN.com. That's for those of you listening on podcast right now. And by the way, if you're only listening, that's great. Thank you. But you can get a much better experience if you come join us live. And to do that, it's real simple. You go to themindbodybusinessshow.com. I know, real short URL, huh? Themindbodybusinessshow.com. And scroll down and click any of the buttons you see that say where and how to watch. It will jump you straight to what's called an opt-in form. You're going to get a free gift of $300 hotel discount for hotels all over the world that I know are actual real and bona fide because I've used them. And that's just for raising your hand saying, please let me know when your next live show airs. You'll just get an email 5 minutes prior to us going live with the link. All you have to do is click the link and you're here watching us. That's it. We don't sell you anything. We bring you to people like Jennifer. It's our gift to you. That's all you have to do is opt in, and you will get the ability also to enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Yes, we'll give that away every single show, but you must be watching live to enter to win. And so we're going to do that here at the end of the show, pretty close to it. And we also have a little birdie told me a nice, wonderful gift from you know who, Jennifer Fraser herself. And where are we time-wise? Oh my God, we're there. What happened? Oh my gosh. I just looked a moment ago. We had like 10 minutes to go. I'm like, no, what happened? Let's see. What do we have? Yes, someone must have read it. Martine Hello Allen. Totally worth reading. Talking about your book. Fantastic. And she also says she's the real deal. Thumbs up. I love it. And so, goodness sakes, we are at the end already. We're very close. So a couple of gifts. We're going to do some giveaways. And then Jennifer, the way I like to end every show is with one final, what I call very profound question. And it's a question I was asking kind of randomly. This show's been running for nearly 5 years now. And I used to ask it on occasion and then started realizing, whoa, these responses are something else. And so I began ending every show with this last question. And it's phenomenal. And you're going to crush it, as everyone before you has. There's no doubt in my mind. Before we do that, we have a couple of giveaways. So for those of you watching live, once again, you must be watching live. What I'm going to do is put up on the screen a URL for you to later type in and go to. So write this down. We will be monitoring entries after the show is over. Do not despair and do not go away, because you don't want to miss this last question with Jennifer that's coming up in just a second here. So I'm going to bring it up on the screen. You must solemnly swear and hereby promise that you will write this down and not go there right now. Okay, we got that out of the way. Great. Here it is. You want to go to ryp.im/vacation. ryp.im/vacation. Enter to win after the show has concluded. Write that down right now. ryp.im/vacation, all lowercase. Enter to win right when we close the show. And I cannot wait to see who wins that fabulous, fabulous vacation stay. Compliments of Reach Your Peak. All right. And then, like I said, that little birdie told me there is another fantastic gift that, yes, Jennifer Fraser is giving. So I'm just going to put it up on the screen and let you take it away, Jennifer, to explain what this is. And then we'll be sure to call out the specific way that they can enter in the coupon code that goes with it. All right. Sound good?
So I'm going to shift this around, Brian, as you and I talked about, because it's not going to be very helpful for your entrepreneurs to be learning about the adolescent brain. So what I'm going to do is send you, after the show, a different course code and coupon, which will be a show for, it'll be quick, like a 1-hour crash course on how to harness neuroscience for entrepreneurial health, happiness, and high performance. And I will send that off as soon as we're done tonight, and put that course together, because I just think it would be so much more useful.
Okay. And how will people then, how will you know who to send it to? How do they enter to get this gift? Do they send you an email with a subject line?
Yeah, that is perfect. They can write me directly through my website. They can write me through the contact info at bulliedbrain.com, rather than have to remember, this is my personal email, jenniferfraserphd@gmail.com. I answer both of them all the time. So don't hesitate to write me. I would love to enroll you in the course, and I'd love to hear your feedback. And I'll try and make a better entrepreneur course after if I've missed key stuff. But it'll be short and sweet and packed full of science.
Fantastic. So 2 different ways. One is through her personal email address, which is jenniferfraserphd@gmail.com. So Jennifer is JENNIFER FRASER PhD@gmail.com. And then the other is to go to our website, which is bulliedbrain.com, and then go to the contact us in the main menu. Contact is the word, and then fill out that form. Mention somewhere that you heard of her from the Mind Body Business Show, and that will trigger her to say, oh, okay, I remember, that's for that gift that I promised. And know that this is probably not going to be something she offers forever, but do treat it with respect and with value, because anything Jennifer does is going to have extreme value, and you want to respect her for that. And also, I would say, thank her for offering this wonderful gift to you. And I thank you, Jennifer. If no one else will, I will definitely. Thank you. I know plenty will. And so, fantastic. Those are the gifts. And we have that wonderful final burning question. Oh, I love this question. So here's the cool thing about this question, Jennifer, with all this wonderful hype and buildup that's coming. And that is, there's no such thing as a wrong answer. It's impossible. It's not a test. You can't fail because it's not even a test to begin with. The cool thing is the exact opposite is actually the case, is that the only correct answer is yours. It's going to be unique to you. And I know this from doing this many times on this show, asking the same question. You may know the answer instantly, or it may take you several seconds. It may take you a minute or more. Even that is perfect because it's your answer. So there's absolutely no pressure. And now that I've built it up so great, you're probably going, holy moly, what the heck is this question? You say there's no pressure, but I'm feeling it. What is going on? And so that's great because I love the build up and the anticipation. And well, with that, Jennifer, are you ready? Of course you are. Of course you are. Here we go. Jennifer Fraser, how do you define success?
Oh, it's a question where your lead up made me want to share something that lots of people don't know that's incredibly powerful. And that is that I will give you a unique answer to this simply because every single one of us on the planet, and this is part of kind of almost a divine thing, every single one of us has a unique brain. Your brain is as unique as your fingerprints. No one else has it. So you will always answer this question uniquely. And I would define success as being able to help people move from an outdated paradigm, an outdated framework that many of us grew up with, and that is the bullying and abuse paradigm. If I can encourage people and get them empowered and get them inspired to walk with me away from that broken system and into a new world that's brain informed, that I call the new neuro paradigm, which is a framework where we actually pay attention to the absolute guiding force of every single thing we feel or think or do, namely our brains, then that to me would be absolute success.
I'm telling you, you do not disappoint. You are an amazing woman. I appreciate you. My gosh, because you just said it perfectly in the beginning that we all have unique brains, because I've been doing this a long time, and no two people to date, and perhaps now having heard what you just said, perhaps never will we have two people that have answered it the same way, exactly the same way. And yours was true to form, unique. And here's another great data point for this, is that not a single entrepreneur, successful business person who's been on this show had said that their definition of success was centered around money. Isn't that wonderful? It's amazing, because the people that come on this show that are successful entrepreneurs and are doing things, they're doing it because they love to serve others, and that's where their heart is. They get more joy from helping others than they do from making the money. Let me be clear, making money is very important. The interesting thing is it is not the top priority of a single person that I've interviewed on this show. It is an ingredient for sure, has to be, because with more income, Jennifer can impact more lives by marketing more, getting the word out, being on shows like this, writing books and getting more books sold through marketing. Just getting the word out costs money. And then her time. She is worthy of being compensated for her time, having given the fact that she has done the research. She has proven that it works. She has developed a system that works, where she can now literally save lives. As she already said, her book has done so. So come on. It's beautiful. So I wish upon you, Jennifer, immense wealth, so that
Thank you.
so that you can take that wealth, because I know what you'll do with it, or at least some of it. Go have fun with it. You deserve it. Have fun with it, and reward yourself. But I know you're going to take a good portion of that, probably the majority of it, and scale your business and serve more people. Maybe bring others and train them as you have trained yourself and have been trained, and keep scaling it and serving more people and getting the word out. so that people's brains can be healed. So thank you for what you do. I appreciate you so very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't like this part of it. This is the worst part because it is the end. Oh, the end. Oh my goodness. Who do we have here? Dr. Ronk gosh, I hope I don't mess it up. Kamalafi. I'm sorry. DBH MBA says, excellent. Thank you, Dr. Ronka. I hope I'm saying any of those names correctly. I apologize if I'm not. That is it for this show. I don't want to keep everyone on too long out of respect for everyone, including Jennifer Fraser, PhD. She owns it. She's awesome. I appreciate you, Jennifer, and everyone watching and listening here on this show, whether you're watching live, watching recorded video, or you're listening to the recorded podcast. Thank you so much. I hope you took a lot of notes, and next for you to do is to take action. Get her book. It is The Bullied, where'd it go? Brain. It is The Bullied Brain, and also go to bulliedbrain.com and hit the contact form and reach out to her and ask for help. We all need it. Every single one of us. There isn't a single one of us that doesn't have a bit of scar tissue in our noggin that needs some repair work. And Jennifer can help you do that. Anything you'd like to say in parting, Jennifer, to bring us home?
No, I just want to thank you so much, Brian, for having me. It was wonderful to talk to you, and I love your energy and why you do this and how you do this. And I felt really privileged to be in conversation with you tonight. And you obviously have a fabulous audience, and I appreciate the time they took in an evening to listen in. So thank you so much.
Very well put, especially for them taking their time. And thank you for the very kind words. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the amazing Jennifer Fraser, PhD, I am Brian Kelly, your host of the Mind Body Business Show. And we'll be back again at least next week, maybe more, maybe sooner. We'll see. But until then, please do two things, everyone. Number one, go out and serve more people through your business, through your gifts, through your abilities. And then number two, and above all else, please be blessed. All right, that is it for us. We will see you again next time on the Mind Body Business Show. Until then, take care, everyone. So long for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.